What's going on, folks? Welcome back to Kids Today. I'm Dr. Kamal Jones. Today, we are diving into a really important topic for kids, and that is social media. We've all been there, stuck in the endless scroll, whether it's TikTok or Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, any of the above. The endless scroll until suddenly hours have passed, and if you're anything like me, all you have learned to do is tell the age of a lobster or the latest saga of New York City plumbers or something about demure and mindfulness. I don't know. And this is all by design. Social media platforms are engineered to pull us in deeper into their algorithms and make us spend more time on their apps, which means more money for them. And this doesn't mean social media is inherently bad. There can be some real benefits from social media. If, of course, you're watching this, it's probably through or because of social media. But it can also present a real challenge, especially for kids with their developing minds. They can be exposed sometimes to harmful content, from things like dangerous challenges to airbrush photos that force comparison and damage self-esteem. In fact, 1/2 of kids say that social media negatively affects their body image, and 2/3 of kids report that they get exposed in social media to hate-based content. The Surgeon General recently even called for warning labels on social media sites. Warning labels, you heard that right. Like what you might see on tobacco products. And the citation that he's asking for is that they can cause significant mental health harms for adolescents. So, what is being done about it? Today we are kicking off a 2-part series focused on efforts being made to make social media safer for kids. The first episode today will focus on a major set of bills that is currently making absolute waves in Congress. It's really aimed at changing the social media landscape for children all across the country. So recently, the Senate passed 2 significant bills designed to put guardrails on the internet for kids. The first is the Children and Teens Online Privacy Protection Act. This bill will do a couple of things, but the kind of punchline, most important component is that it will ban online companies from collecting personal information from users 13 to 16 years old without getting explicit consent. This bill is pretty drama-free, fairly universally supported. It's really sort of an upgrade from a previously existing version of this bill that was formed and created before we had most of our social media apps available. The second bill is the Kids Online Safety Act. Now, this bill is a little bit more controversial in how it's been received. Most notably, it establishes what is called a duty of care for online platforms, requiring them to enable, by default, the most protective settings for minors so that they can protect information of minors, so that they can disable addictive features, right? Things like that endless scroll. And so they can make design changes to modify the algorithms and to improve the content experience for kids to make it a safer place. So if you think about how, let's say Instagram, for example, currently works, maybe you're a teen and you are having some friends over and you guys want to make a fun meal together. And so you start looking up interesting meals. Next, what happens is the algorithm starts to guide you towards maybe, some really nutritious looking meal, and that's great. We love things like that. But then it sees that, oh, I see you lingered over a photo of someone who is really fit. And so now the algorithm starts to refer you to fitness pages and exercise photos. And then maybe from there you find yourself ending up on pages of folks who are thinner and thinner and thinner. And now, as a teen, you went from, hey, I just want to have a nice evening with some of my friends, to feeling really deep angst about how your own body looks and if you feel comfortable in your skin. This bill, the Kids Online Safety Act, will really look to disrupt that process end to end, from the data collection component to how the algorithms are functioning. Now, supporters argue that this legislation will make the internet safer for kids. You know, if you think of the internet like a car, cars were not designed for children, right? We had to retroactively build things like car seats, booster seats, and put legislation in place to make sure that kids were kept safe. This internet policy is seeking to do a similar thing. But when it comes to the Kids Online Safety Act, not everybody is on board. Critics, including the American Civil Liberties Union, the ACLU, and some LGBTQ advocacy groups, for example, worry that bills like this might end up leading to censorship. You know, they're concerned about content being blocked or removed based on who happens to be politically in power. And this can potentially affect access to important information that folks might need. With that being said, though, there have been tweaks made to the bill that have made it very, very clear that the focus is on the design aspects of the internet, not on controlling content that can or cannot be posted. And so this bill is getting support from advocacy groups across the country, from parent groups, from folks like the American Academy of Pediatrics, some tech companies like Microsoft. On my end, as a pediatrician, I have seen firsthand the ways that social media can impact kids. And in my view, these bills are a positive step towards making the internet a safer place for kids. But I am super eager to hear your thoughts on these bills, especially the Kids Online Safety Act. So currently, the two bills are in the House of Representatives. They made it through the Senate. They passed with really, really strong bipartisan support, but they do face some real roadblocks when it comes to the House of Representatives. And so I would encourage you that if you care about internet safety for kids, go ahead and call your representative. I'll put a link in the description so that you can more easily access the information for how to connect to them. And just let them know, like, hey, I am so-and-so, I'm Dr. Kamal Jones. I am in support of the Kids Online Safety Act and the Children and Teens Online Privacy Act. Let them know where you're from, that you're from their district. That really short call, that little call, they write these things down, their team writes these things down, and it can go a really, really long way into making sure that they hear your voice and are pushing that vote forward in the House so that we can get this signed into law. Okay, my friends, that is our show today. Leave your comments below. Please don't forget to like, subscribe for more updates on this and other important topics. And please stay tuned for part 2 of our social media series. We'll see you next time on Kids Today. Take care, y'all.